Hi, welcome back. The program is still New Day, and I told you we'll be right here waiting for you when you come back. I hope you enjoyed your time out with Ahmed Issa on Brekete Family. And like I told you earlier, we're going to be talking about the Turkey coup, and we're going to be linking it to Nigeria. We're going to be looking at reasons why there could be a coup in Nigeria. We're going to be talking to an expert. Well, that will be much later. So, Anthony, there are we be of the opinion that there are lots of reasons why there should be or there might be a coup in Nigeria.
Well, obviously, for me, I think the points that I want to make the military get into that it's when the hardship economic situation in the country becomes very unbearable, and at a point when they feel like probably the citizens are crying out and might want to lash on that opportunity to say, okay, since the country is not being governed properly, we're here to ensure that things are done properly. And so that's the only reason the military would want to say, okay, but the people have to show that probably they're not satisfied with the level of governance.
From all indications, there's been a whole lot of criticisms on this present administration. There's been a whole lot of things that people feel that are not done right. That could have been done in a better way. And then we also have the arms scandal probe, that one is there. And then we have the unrest in Niger Delta, the Biafra agitation. There are a whole lot of things that can really,
I think those two factors are another very strong possibilities that could actually lead to that, because once you've got protesters being killed, the Avengers causing havoc, then at a point you're going to have breakdown in law and order when communities also begin to carry arms in order to defend themselves, like the people in Benue State. If they, for any reason, decide to say, okay, we're not getting enough protection from the federal government, we may as well protect ourselves. So what it means is that once we start carrying arms, and
Anthony, I think we have our guest now on the phone. Good morning, Mr. Adeola. Good morning, Mr. Adeola.
Hello, good morning. I can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Adeola. Can you hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay. So we're talking about the Turkey coup, and we're going to be linking it to Nigeria as it affects us. Now, on June 21, the Joint Niger Delta Liberation Force alerted Nigerians of a secret ploy by the military to topple the President Muhammadu Buhari's government. Now, do you think this is something to be treated with levity?
Anyway, it's not what people can take with levity. Of course, you may want to say in the first place that why would militants will be the one giving information, intelligence to Nigerian army that have been, we can say, have been tested and trusted when it comes to intelligence to a reasonable degree. But any information coming from anywhere should not be taken with levity. It's information that needs to be looked into and see whether there is a crack in the chain of command. But since it has been said, the military has dismissed it and made Nigerians to understand that there is nothing like that happening. But for the fact that it has been dismissed, that it's not true, does not really mean that it should not be taken with levity. I want to believe that even though if it did not happen like the military made us to understand, it is something that they would definitely look into, and then of course put every necessary machinery in place, and then of course intelligence will be up there scanning every nook and cranny, what they need to know, information they need to, they need to source for, the test they need to carry out. I know they would definitely act on it. It's not something that should be taken with levity, irrespective of the fact that it's not even coming from the police, from DSS, but it's coming from the people who bear arms against the state for a particular struggle within the Niger Delta.
Okay. Now, what would you consider the allegations of those people? Will you consider it baseless, like from what you said now? In as much as it shouldn't be treated with levity, will you consider it baseless?
like I mentioned, any information coming from any source, even though if it's not true, you can't call it baseless. It's an information that you should look into. Even if it's not true, if it's a ploy on the part of those who are saying it to distract the military. You can't call it a baseless, talk. It's a talk that you need to investigate. If it's not true, you dismiss it. That is not true. But I don't want to believe is what can be handled with levity or not taken serious.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, Mr. Adeola. What are the difference and similarities you've seen between Nigeria and Turkey that might lead to a coup in Nigeria?
Sorry, can you come again with the question?
I said, what are the differences or similarities between Nigeria and Turkey that might lead to the military wanting to, take over also a coup occurring in Nigeria? What are the similarities between Nigeria and Turkey?
Okay, maybe I would say Nigeria can learn from what just happened in Turkey. You will agree with me that Turkey is part of the coalition that is fighting ISIS. Turkey is also strong in NATO. Turkey is an ally of a Western country who are doing everything possible to subdue the power of ISIS. And then, of course, they have a very strong intelligence. It was shocking. Of course, we understand that in decades, Turkey has experienced coup. But we're shocked at this point in time that such could happen at the time that Turkey is playing a strong role in terms of fighting ISIS and also giving support to international communities. Those who are fighting ISIS because of their high intelligence. It's shocking that there is a crack in the chains of command of the Turkey and it did not leak out at all. It's shocking that it could capture President Erdogan unaware when he was even on maybe on holiday or somewhere outside the seat of power. So you will see that if this could happen in a highly intelligent military settings of Turkey, then it can as well happen anywhere in the world. I think what is expected of the military in Nigeria is to also learn from this that irrespective of what, like I mentioned, the intelligence is the soul of security forces.
Yeah.
Where the intelligence is not sharp, if you permit me to use the word, then they could be caught unaware. Okay. So what Nigeria can learn, like I mentioned, is to make sure that the intelligence in Nigeria is taken seriously, and that every information should be taken serious as well, and that the crack in the security forces can happen. So many things influence it. For example, if you look at, we understand that there are serious human rights issues in Turkey, but the position of the faction that staged the aborted coup against the government, that they had to do it because of the fact of the country was having a human rights issue. Yeah. It's not justified. They try to sell that to the whole world, but you will see that even before the government subdued them, the whole world kicked against them, that they will not want change of existing order in Turkey in an undemocratic manner. So the idea they sold to the whole world will not be justified. But in Nigeria, if you look at our military at the moment, we are doing everything possible in Nigeria to also make sure that we don't overheat the policy, and we don't want a situation whereby we'll go back to the military era, because it will not really be good for the development of the country, for the unity of the country, and for even the development of the country generally. We don't pray for that kind of situation anymore.
Yeah.
We say never again should Nigeria be plunged back into the dark era of military government. But I want to believe that every country in the world will sit tight again and, of course, do the needful in making sure that they don't allow crack in the chains of command, whereby some will be trying to stage a coup against, the sitting government.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned what the military can learn from the failed coup attempt. Now, looking at Nigeria now, or say back to Turkey, from what we saw that the citizens were in support of the president. They had the back of the president. So when he told them to go on the streets, they obeyed the president and did what he wanted. So can we really say same for Nigeria? Looking at the situation in Nigeria, looking at the present administration, we've seen so many criticisms for this present administration. Can we really say that the people are really in support of the government of Nigeria? And what lessons do you think the government, our leaders can learn from the coup that happened in Turkey?
Okay, let me say that every patriotic citizen of Nigeria, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your religion, will never pray that military should take over powers in Nigeria again.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, that never again should we be plunged back into the era whereby military will take over power in this country. When military takes over, then the right you and I have, your right of freedom of expression, your freedom that you enjoy to do your work over there, you will not be free to do it. You will not be able to report balanced news. You will not be able to give information that your viewers should have access to. You will be restricted. I will not also have freedom to practice law as is expected in the country. Most Nigerians will not have their freedom of association. People will not have freedom of assembly. And you will just be seeing decree from one place to another that will be restricting the rights of the people. We all understand that wherever military is in charge, fundamental human rights is always suspended. Okay. So nobody will ever pray that there will be a change in the existing order where the ground norm we have in this country is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be suspended once again. So you will agree with me that the people in Turkey, they understand the implication of what happened. I mean, the aborted coup, if it's sustained, it will bring hardship, and then of course their freedom will be limited. They only fought for their freedom. Most times it may not be because of the leader. At times, okay. If I want to fight now for my right or for the right of the people, it's not because I'm fighting because a particular person is in power. I'm fighting for the freedom of Nigeria. I'm fighting for the freedom of my people. I'm not fighting because a particular person is in power. You will see that at a point in time there was a particular government in power, and we had constitutional crisis in this country, and people walked on the street. They protested. That does not really mean that if we have constitutional crisis at this point in time that people will not protest again. Yeah. What they were protesting for is the rule of law, the freedom of the people. So for the fact that some people came out to fight against the aborted coup before it was eventually, subdued by the government of Turkey, you may say that they listen to the order of the president, President Erdogan. But I would tell you, from the angle I'm looking at it, is that people fought for their country. Okay.
Now, looking at coming back to Nigeria, don't you think, from what you said so far, you don't think probably there will be a reason or any reason for a coup in Nigeria? But don't you think the situation in Turkey reminds us of the kind of danger that any democracy with troubled foundations can face, like ours is here? Now, let me highlight some issues that could probably lead to a possible problem or coup in Nigeria. We have the ongoing move to remove Saraki and Ekweremadu. We also have recent retirement of some military officials. We also have the arms scandal. We have the unrest in Niger Delta. We have the Fulani headsmen issue. We have the Biafra agitation. So anything is bound to happen in Nigeria. So don't you think all these issues can lead to, something like that?
Yes, we have our issues in Nigeria. No doubt about the fact that we have our issues. But the point we are trying to make here is that these issues can be looked into without intervention of the military. I tell you, some of these issues are not issues that even military can solve. If military find themselves into power, like I mentioned, God forbid. If you look at the issue of IPOB, of course, they have some points they are making. That's my position. They are making some points that the federal government look into some issues that concern us as far as we are concerned in the Southeast. But if you look at the modus operandi about the way they are going about it at times, it may give a serious concern in an attempt to get attention of the government into your own plight. Then do it in such a way that the government will listen to you, but you will not run contrary to the position of the law. If you look at the issues of allegations against the principal members of the Senate, the leaders in the Senate, I don't see that the justification for military to intervene in disrupt the governance and the democracy of Nigeria. It is a matter of allegations. Some of us are emotional about the issue of what happens to our leaders or allegation leveled against our leaders. If you are alleged to have done wrong things, you have your days in court. Get the best brain to come and defend you. The allegation, when it comes to a crime, it has to be proved beyond every reasonable doubt. The prosecution has that responsibility. And if you have good lawyers and you are very sure that you are not found wanting, you will have your days in court. You'll be given fair hearing. Where you are not given fair hearing, even if a decision is entered against you, you have the right to appeal. All this happens to ordinary people on the streets too. People who are not in high places at one time or the other are being, let me say every day, are being arraigned in court for crimes. And they always have their day in court. We should not say that if it happens to maybe some leaders in the country, then it will be a justification for the military to take over power in Nigeria. I don't think so. Yes, issue of Niger Delta. We understand there are issues even before now in Niger Delta. But the problem we are having is the modus operandi, the yardstick, their style to get the attention of the government is having adverse effects on the entire country. In an attempt to get the attention of the country to your plight. If you destroy everything you have over there, look at what is happening in the northeastern part of Nigeria. In an attempt to get the attention of the country that they want to declare, a Sharia state. Look at so many destruction of life and property that has happened in the northeast. But it's now clear that the military are taking over, are having upper hand over there. But tell me, if after all this has come to an end, for how long will it take for development to take place in the northeastern part of Nigeria? These are things we need to look at. Some of the people who are staging serious attacks against, the pipelines and every facilities we have over there in the south region of the country, they should also think that even if the attention, what they are asking for is listened to and is resolved, how many years will it take, the part of the country to regain that development in which they have destroyed before now? I think time has come for us in this country to make our point known to the government without destruction of lives and property.
All right.
So all these are issues that we have in the country, but I will maintain that it's not a justification for military to intervene or to destroy.
All right. We would like to just ask you as regards the Turkish military, if what their mindset would be after this failed attempt. Well, I think.
Sorry, can you come again, please?
We lost him there, but obviously he has given us some insight as regards the likely possibility of any coup occurring in Nigeria. I think our situation hasn't gotten that bad, and obviously even for the situation.
I think it's back.
All right. Nice to have you back. The question is, as regards the failed attempt, what will be the mindset and the orientation of the Turkish military right now? And do you also foresee any abuse of human rights?
When it comes to human rights issue, Turkey is having that seriously, and of course, that has raised fear of how the president will also manage this current issue right now. Now that he's asking, because one of the conditions for Turkey to be allowed into the EU is dropping death penalty, and even after that, there are so many human rights issues. We know that, like the report have it, that the president does not tolerate dissecting view critics. So many journalists have been detained for criticizing his government. The Kurdish issues are also there. Many of them have been reported to have been detained without fair trial, without having access to their families and their lawyers, and so on and so forth. And that has raised serious concern about how these presidents will manage the aftermath of the aborted coup that happened in Turkey. You will see that the president has named so many of his critics, including the one based in the United States of America, to be part of the coup, in which so many of all these critics have denied that they did not even know about the coup in the first place, and he has ordered for so many people to be arrested. I understand that on the part of the military involved, people can be arrested only for them to defend themselves. But in a situation whereby the president is also looking at his critics as probably people behind the coup, and them asking for the introduction of death penalty, and has said that the maximum penalty will be visited on the people in charge. This is happening in a country that does not have respect for human rights, then it calls for serious concern. But I understand that the international community, human rights organizations are really talking about this, are expressing their fears. But I want to believe as they keep talking, it will go a long way shaping how the country, the leaders, in Turkey will manage these affairs.
Okay.
All right. Finally, what would you say are the three core reasons why this coup failed?
Well, first, let me say that the people of Turkey did not want illegal change of the existing order. That's why many of them came out. Many of these people are defenseless, ordinary citizens on the street, to defend the democracy of their country. And you will see many of them paid supreme prices. Many of them were killed. I'm talking about the citizens for this. For coming out to fight for continuity and of democracy in their country. So the people won this in the first place. Then number two, even though there was a crack in the military and they staged the coup, it was quickly aborted because of the strong intelligence of the Turkish military as well, which is very, very important. Though they were taken unaware, but they quickly fought back. Based on the intelligence they have and the strong military network they have too as well. The third one I would say is also the support of the international community, because immediately it was announced that the coup took place. If international community should fold their hands and expecting whatever outcomes they will give the support, probably it may not. It might not be really that easy to get the coup aborted. But for the fact that the international community condemned it, that irrespective of issues of human rights in that country, they will want, if I thought there will be a change of power, it should be in line with the provisions of the law, as in rule of law and democracy. So international community also condemned it, and it also went in a long way to see that within few hours, this coup was put to an end.
Okay. Now, finally, coming from me, the President Buhari yesterday, when he was talking about the coup, he condemned the coup outrightly, and then he said the removal of a democratic government was no longer acceptable. Will you go with the president on that statement?
Yes. There is nothing like democracy. There is nothing compared to democracy. Pardon me, please. Okay. Democracy, no matter the challenges we have, is still the best, and the democracy is tagged in any given country by the way of life, the historical antecedent, and the religions, the way we live our lives in our own country. So that is what democracy is all about. Changing of the existing order and bringing people that will start giving orders, that will start prosecuting people in retrospect, which is not allowed in democracy, and so many other things, will not make anybody, any right-thinking people who want to develop, people who want to move forward, people who want to take global mobile technological advancement to shape their world, to accept or call for military to take over power. Taking over power through force should be condemned and should no longer be welcomed by anybody globally. Let us build on the democracy we have. Okay. Of course, we may be struggling, but I believe that consistency in practicing democracy will go a long way shaping the future of any country practicing democracy for better.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adeola, for joining us this morning. It was nice having you. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, we've been talking with Mr. Adeola Oyinlade, and he is a human rights and international law expert. He's also the consultant, African Union and UNESCO. I bet you've learned a whole lot.
Well, obviously, you can't get any other better person, but he was precise. But the good news is that Nigeria still has, we're still in a good path, and the possibility of coup occurring in Nigeria is very distant, and we don't need it actually.
Yeah, we don't.
And so we hope that the government of Nigeria will definitely take a cue from what happened in Turkey and ensure that things get right, the economic situation in the country gets better, so